CBC News has learned that former BC Premier and Canada's ambassador to Germany, John Horgan, has died. Horgan had cancer for the third time, and the CBC's Sarah Galashan is in BC, and she joins me now with more. So, Sarah, what can you tell us?
Well, Andrew, we have now had confirmation from the family. A family friend has posted a statement. And let me read that. It says, "From the Horgan family, our hearts are broken to announce the passing of our beloved husband, father, and friend, John Horgan. John passed away peacefully this morning at Royal Jubilee Hospital in Victoria. The well-being of British Columbia and everyone in it was everything to him. He was surrounded by family, friends, and love in his final days. Ellie and the rest of John's family ask for privacy during this time of mourning. Live long and prosper." And that last statement, we know if anyone's followed BC politics and the career of John Horgan, he was a Star Trek fan. So that's a very appropriate sign off there. I heard you reporting earlier, John Horgan is someone who has had several bouts of cancer in his adult life. In 2008, he had bladder cancer and was given a clean bill of health at the end of that. But then while serving as the 36th Premier of British Columbia, in 2021, he developed throat cancer. There was a lump discovered. It was removed, determined to be malignant. And so while serving as Premier, he underwent chemotherapy for that and came out and was, again, given the clean bill of health, but said eventually after that experience that he had gone for what he called a long walk on the beach with his wife, Ellie, and had determined that it was time to spend more time with his family, step away from politics, and so served for 5 years as Premier of British Columbia before there was an internal leadership race, and David Eby took that position, and he is now Premier of the province. And John Horgan, after that, eventually November 1st, 2023, was appointed to be the ambassador of Germany by Justin Trudeau, and that is what he had been doing until June of this year. And we understand that there was another diagnosis of cancer, and he was taking leave for that. And we understand as well from a family friend that he had obviously returned to British Columbia, and he has, as we've been learning over the last hour, has passed away. And this is something, I think, Andrew, that is going to hit a lot of British Columbians very hard. He was a very popular Premier. He was, I think it's fair to say, he was a very popular Premier throughout the pandemic because he had in 2017 won very narrowly and had to form, if you recall, an alliance with the Green Party, the two candidates of the Green Party, in order to take government. But during the pandemic, did call a snap election, did win, I think it was 57 seats, a huge vote of confidence. There's no other way you could look at that. But then never got to really see that through because of the throat cancer and the decision that he made to then step down. It's going to be a very difficult day, certainly for all of his party, the NDP party, and his many supporters in the province.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Sarah, as you say, he was popular. He was appointed by a Liberal Prime Minister to be ambassador to Germany and NDP Premier. My vague recollection, is that he got along well with the federal government and kind of loomed large as a politician, not just for British Columbians, but within Canada.
Yeah, he did. He was, he, as I say, in 2017, it was considered a very narrow, was a very dramatic, not unlike, I'll say, the last provincial election in British Columbia, not exactly the same, but a very narrow win there, and one that really only happened because someone crossed the floor to become the speaker because he formed an alliance with others, but then really got that mandate in the midst of the pandemic. There was obviously support for him, very much so, in the province, and those votes reflected that. I would gather, he was a political animal. He is somebody who, before he went into politics, he worked as ministerial assistants in various capacities for government. And then it was in 2005 that he decided to throw his hat in the ring. And it wasn't long before he became the NDP party leader. 2013 is when he became party leader. And then 4 years after that, the NDP were able to win government. And then, as I say, by a much greater majority. If you reflect on the last election, I don't know to what end he would have been someone paying attention, but he was a political animal, and certainly the last election held a lot of drama in this province. But as we know, the NDP does remain to be the majority. They are in power. And we are going to have a swearing in coming up on the 18th, a full month after that election was held. And I think it goes without saying that there will be some way of marking the passing of John Horgan on that occasion.
And Sarah, just as we have been speaking, there is now a statement from the Premier, David Eby, has just issued this statement, and I'll just read a little bit of it. The news of John Horgan's passing this morning in Victoria leaves us with heavy hearts. John loved this province and its people. He sought to address injustice wherever he saw it, using his time in office to help build a better, stronger British Columbia for everyone. His many accomplishments as Premier will be felt for years and generations to come. His achievements are too numerous to mention, but he was a consequential Premier at a critical time in our history. He encouraged all of us to strive to be our better selves. So just some of the comments that we're getting coming in to our newsroom today. John Horgan, the former Premier of British Columbia, and the ambassador to Germany, has died at the age of 65. So, Sarah, I'm sure we'll be watching much more. And, of course, we're hearing just briefly, Sarah, from his family who made this news known to the rest of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and that statement coming out from a family friend who, talking to one of our reporters, had seen him as recently as Thursday, but no comment on how he was doing. But it was at Royal Jubilee Hospital in Victoria that he has passed away. And that's where he was from. He was born in Victoria. He eventually went to Ontario and to complete some post-secondary education, but came back to BC. And I think it's safe to say he considered himself a BC boy and was back in the province and now today has passed away.
All right, Sarah, thank you. That is the CBC's Sarah Galashan. And as you've just been hearing, the former Premier of British Columbia, NDP Premier John Horgan, has died at the age of 65. More ahead.